Hey guys, we're here in the office of Araminta Freedom Initiative, and we're so excited to interview these beautiful ladies. And
Yes, let me introduce them. Over here, we have Alicia, with the Executive Director of Araminta Freedom Initiative, and then over here is Sarah, who is the Program Manager who does a lot of the work, the internal work as well. And so we're super excited to talk with you guys and get to know your organization and, just how to get people involved with you guys as well. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And as you guys know, we have a 5K coming up, and this is the organization that's hosting it, so we want to get some more inside information for y'all.
Right, yes.
So, how did this organization become about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the organization was founded by 8 different people here in the Baltimore region. So myself and 7 other people knew about the issue of human trafficking. And we were also really aware that human trafficking isn't something that's just happening overseas and in other countries, but it's happening right here in the Baltimore, Maryland, DC area. We wanted to be able to awaken them to the issue, to equip them, and then to mobilize them to stand against slavery. And so together, the 8 of us came together. We didn't know what that would look like, but we spent about 16 months in discernment and trying to figure out what is it that we are called to do to stand against this. And out of that, Araminta was born.
Wow. And Araminta is such a cool name. Can you kind of tell us about the background of that name?
Absolutely. We, as an organization, felt really strongly that our name needed to reflect somebody who had experienced slavery and oppression, but came out of that to offer hope and freedom, and didn't stay in the darkness of that, but brought light to that. And so we looked at a lot of people who had been leaders in the abolition movement and realized that Harriet Tubman was a slave right here in Maryland. And Maryland has a dark history of slavery, but is a great light of abolition that came forth from it. And so Araminta is actually Harriet Tubman's given name. Her name is a child slave over on the Eastern Shore. And Araminta means Arabella, or it's a combination of 2 names, Arabella and Aminta, both meaning answered prayer and defender. And so we felt that that was a great representation of who we desire to be as an organization, and also to take on the weight of following in her legacy of bringing forth hope and freedom.
Yeah.
What kind of work does your organization do, or what kind of programs do you guys run within your organization? Yeah.
We recognize that a lot of people would look at this issue and say, well, I can't do anything. I'm not a professional. I'm not in law enforcement, or I'm not a social worker. So there's not much I can do to fight this. And that's absolutely not true. And so what we do is we awaken, equip, and mobilize people to volunteer in a lot of different ways to engage this issue. So we have a volunteer training course that we equip people to understand trafficking and how they can engage, and then we mobilize them in their gifting and in the ways that they are passionate to serve to really stand against trafficking. And so over the last 3 years since we've been working in the community, we've had about 280 people go through our volunteer training course and be mobilized.
So one of the places we saw that we could kind of come in with our volunteer base was to provide mentors for some of the survivors of domestic minor sex trafficking. We're told by people in the field that that's maybe one of the biggest missing links. It's just a mentor, somebody to walk alongside these young women who are already receiving case management services, but they don't have somebody just walking alongside with them.
We really believe that relationship is what will bring restoration. And so part of what we do is we do prevention and intervention education with adults who could encounter children who are either at risk or currently being trafficked. And we really believe that it's that relationship that will be the one who can prevent or intervene from this happening to a child. We believe that that can't happen without our entire community stepping up and saying, we as an entire community might have failed them, that they have been trafficked because we didn't notice this problem, we didn't pay attention, but now as a community we're going to bring about restoration through relationship.
Wow, that's great.
A good example of that, just in real life, was Alicia was doing a presentation at a school, and there was somebody in the audience that was just appeared to be on his cell phone, maybe distracted. And when you're speaking, you kind of notice, why is that man on his cell phone and not listening to me? And after the presentation, he came up to her and said, no, I realized I identified one of my students who is probably being trafficked right now.
That is so amazing. I guess within that, I know you mentioned it a little bit before, but how would you say that your program or your organization has improved or grown within the last few years?
It's been an incredible journey. I think that when we started 5 years ago, we never knew what to expect. At that time, if you consider in the U.S., it really wasn't being very well recognized that this was an issue. One of the examples I give for that is that the U.S. State Department actually had a report that they started in about 2000 called the Trafficking in Persons Report, and that report ranked other countries on their intervention in regards to trafficking of people. We never included ourselves in that report until 2009.
Wow.
So really the recognition as a nation that this is a problem right here on our soil is something that is a newer movement and a newer understanding. One of the things that's been amazing is that the collaborative response in Maryland is really increasing, and it's really a beautiful picture that it will take everyone, from state agencies to private nonprofits like Araminta to the community member whose heart is just, enraged at this, but moved to compassion to respond.
Yeah. Wow, and now that we've heard so much about your organization and we have other audience members that want to probably get involved, how can they get involved with your movement as
Absolutely.
well? Yeah.
The first step is always awakening and equipping yourself to know about the issue. So that would be the first step for people. We also would love for people in their community to connect us to places where we could do our prevention and intervention. So if your child goes to a school where you know that they haven't done education with the teachers about this issue, you can request to bring Araminta into that. You can request to have us come to your church to do an awakening. You can have us come to your youth group and train your youth workers on what the signs are. You can also volunteer with our organization. So there's lots of ways that people can get involved once they go through our volunteer training course, and we'll be offering our next volunteer training course sometime this summer. So people can check our website and find out when that next one is. But I think if people come out to the race, they'll hear about our organization and great ways to begin starting that awakening. So that's a huge way that people can help, is by recruiting their friends to come to the race, because then the awakening will start there.
I mean, we're so excited for the race. Honestly, I'm not a big runner, but I'm gonna
It's a
half
run
walk,
walk.
half. Yeah.
That's what we like to say.
We were debating on like 1K or 5K. But well, we're so proud of you guys. I know, we're so happy to have met you, and to see people that are actually
Yes.
doing something about such a big issue. And we hope that this race does help in that way. One more question: for the money that is we're running for the race, where does that go to?
Absolutely. So the race is a partnership with Freedom 424 and Araminta. Freedom 424 is an amazing organization that utilizes these races to raise money for trafficking organizations, both here in the U.S. and overseas. And so Araminta is their local partner for this race. But the great part about this race too is that it also benefits international organizations as well. So Freedom 424 will then give money to Araminta locally, as well as to some of their partners overseas. And so it's a great way for the community to stand against trafficking as a whole. And we're really grateful for their partnership. They're an incredible partner, and the race is a huge gift to us.
Well, we're excited for the
Yes,
race.
we are.
And we really want you to get involved, because this race is going to be something that's going to help locally and internationally.
Yes, exactly.
So we hope to see you there, and thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate all that you're
Thank you.
doing and what you're doing for the community as well. And definitely, we would hope that many people get involved as well. So.
Thank you for using your platform to raise awareness. We're really grateful.
We are.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
And thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.